which is awesome.
Do you think there are other factors at play? Because I've been playing this kind of the same way since probably BO4. That's when I can say that was probably peak Diddy O Nass's when I was just really whooping a lot of ass. Listen, like, do you think something else is at play? Like, I don't, or you think you're just. I'm just gonna cut to the chase, man. Do you think that skill-based matchmaking plays a part in the way, or your ability to actually, for your natural ability to actually shine the way it did in the past?
I think it's different. I think the perspective of the viewers has changed due to skill-based matchmaking. I think the perspective of playing the game has changed due to skill-based matchmaking. I mean, over time, obviously, the aggression, what's the best word for it? Their formula for how they develop skill-based matchmaking has been refined and tuned over a course of many years at this point. And I mean, if you're a longtime Call of Duty player and you've been playing throughout those years, you can kind of see how it evolved. And it's gotten to a point where it's pretty strong now. If you're in any remotely if you are remotely a above average player, you go into a match and you stomp on a team, the next match, you are not going to be just pushing through those people, whether it's you're getting weighted down by lower skilled players being balanced onto your team in order to kind of balance the teams out a little bit, or you're just facing across, 3 to 4 players on the other team that are all significantly of your skill level, or maybe even in some cases higher than your skill level, which if you're a solo player, you don't stand a chance. So I think the skill-based matchmaking hinders your ability to get to experience being good at the game because you're never going to experience that. So I think a best example is if, let's say, you're a brand new player in Modern Warfare 2, it's your first Call of Duty ever, you are going to play matches. And obviously, the more time you put into it, you're going to slowly get better at the game. But the catch is as you improve at the game, you face harder and harder competition. So we've, in a sense, created this secret ranked play matchmaking in our regular casual modes that you cannot see, you cannot actually confirm it's real. We all can know it is, but obviously it's never been from the horse's mouth itself. Obviously they've never said we did this. No, they won't do that. But over time, they're going to put the time in. They're going to practice their aim. They're going to hit more shots. But the reality is they're never going to experience just stomping on other players as they choose to improve. Back in the old days, when you got good at a Call of Duty or you jumped into a match with a Call of Duty, you got stomped by another player, you probably sent them a friend request. That was typically the behavior that happened in the old Call of Duty days. Or you got mad at them. You were envious of their skill level, right? But the reality is, in that moment, it was a learning experience. You're like, well, I want to be the guy to call in, the top level streaks, whatever Call of Duty was from. I want to call in a swarm in BO2. I want to call in these chopper gunners and these AC-130s and these high level skill or these high level kill streaks, but you got to go on the streaks to do that. So it actually gave you an incentive to actually get better at the game. Then once you actually improved a little bit, you could see your progress back in those time periods because you were slowly getting better than the below average, the average, and then even in some cases, some of the above average players. And you got to see that happening in real time. That is just a thing that is so far from reality now that nobody actually can tell they're getting better. And you're actually seeing more players that are lower skill who have improved going out and being a little bit more, vocal about, I thought SBMM was this other thing that was going to make this game more enjoyable to me. And as I choose to get better at the game, I realize it's more of a punishment. And I think that's kind of a thing that we're seeing more of. I don't think it's going to be something that all players notice because at the end of the day, there are those real casual players who jump in for an hour or two here and there, maybe not every day of the week even. And all they do is just get in and play a few matches. They don't really care if they do better or not. They don't care about improving. They just don't. That's not what they play the game for. Right. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I don't think the game should ever be built off of that because those people aren't really invested anyway. Even if that 1 or 2 hours isn't the greatest experience for them, it's not going to stop them from playing the 1 or 2 hours a few days later. At least not in my experience.